We're doing a black rye IPA today. So the reason I'm doing it is because last week I did a bitter with, and the packet's still here, with this WLP 013 London Ale Yeast. So I did a bitter with that last week, and I went onto the White Labs website to check what the fermentation temperatures were. And on the page was this recipe for a black IPA, and I was thinking, that's interesting. Dank and fruity, it was basically saying, is how this was going to turn out. So there's like Columbus in it, there's rye in it, and it said with this yeast you can get some nice fruity flavours. So I've never done an IPA of any description, I don't think, with any kind of like British ale yeast. I'm trying to think. I don't believe so. Maybe SO4. I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't remember doing any. So that's what we're doing today. So I just happened to have a lot of the stuff I needed in terms of the grain bill and in terms of the hops. So I'm trying to get through a lot of the kind of special grains I have upstairs as well too, which is starting to get a bit old. So yeah, that's what we're doing now. So I'll show you the recipe. Okay, this is it. This is the black IPA. So 5.6% it is. I think it finished on 5.4%, so it's fairly close. And we've got set up to be a black IPA, as according to the BJCP. Everything's in style. Fermentables then, so 73% Golden Promise. Got a bit of Vienna in there. Nearly 10%. Rye malt in there. That is using up all the rest of my rye malt. Carafa Special 3. And then Chateau Blanc. So I think that was just to beef it up a little bit. We have the hops then. So all C hops, you'll notice. So Columbus Centennial Cascade. Columbus Centennial Cascade again, and then the Citra comes in. So the Citra comes in at the flame out plus the dry hop. Now I had a lot of Simcoe in there. I was seriously considering putting that in, but I wanted to keep it, try to keep it to the recipe to see what it was like, and this is the hops that they were using. As far as the yeast goes, WLP 013, there it is there, 75% attenuation. I think I got 73, something like that, 74. Got to put the oat husks in. I don't think it's going to be a slow sparge. There's not even that much rye in it though, like, so. There we go, look at that. Looks like a layer of chocolate over the top. It's just perfect looking. Getting ready for the hot break. Chocolate explosion coming up. Look, look. What? Oh my god. That looks amazing. That is the finest hot break I've ever seen in my life. Magnificent. Thank God I got that on camera. Didn't I say about a hot break? What the hell's wrong with me? cheers, just staring at this thing. I suppose you get the hops in, didn't you? It's from Columbus. Okay, that is the end of the brew day. So we have 20 litres. Gravity reading is pretty much spot on, 105.6. I'll just let that out. I'm just going to leave that out just to make sure that is 105.6. Might be a little bit cold, I'm not sure. So the yeast. So this is the top crop yeast. Now, there isn't an awful lot. I'll be honest, there's a little bit in the bottom, you can see that. There's bits floating about. A lot of it was kind of that protein stuff. So I think whenever I top cropped it, it was maybe slightly over, you know, slightly more attenuated than what it normally is, but you know, the whole point of this is the yeast, so this had better be enough. I'm going to take a chance and see what it does. Keep my eye on the tilt, and I can pitch some USO5 or something like that instead. Worst case scenario. That is how it's turned out. Just black. Black as get on. Lovely head on it. It's not. It's kind of more of a cream colour rather than a kind of tan type thing. Very, very small bubbles. Just looks really creamy. Looking good. So, it's about a week. It's been in the keg about a week now, and yeah, let's give it a taste. I'm gonna spoil it by telling you what it was tasting like, but that's not. Let's just do it now, shall we? The aroma is really good. I mean, if we forget about the hops, I'm actually getting a little bit of the kind of roasted, that Carafa 3 in there. Just off the top. And then you get the amazing aroma, amazing smell of it. Which is like the citra. The citrus is just cutting through everything. With that little bit of roast in the background. Oh, it smells absolutely divine. There is something else in there. It's kind of like a, I want to say like a piney type of smell. Maybe a bit of grapefruit, I'm not sure. Smells marvellous. It does smell absolutely fantastic. Oh, it smells exactly like a Black IPA should smell. Now I know people, Dr. Hans especially, he's not too keen on the roast flavours or aroma in a Black IPA, but you know what? I think as long as they're reasonably restrained, I think it's absolutely acceptable. Not a hoppy stout, that's completely different, but you know, you have to try and restrain it as much as you can, but a little bit of roast in there really kind of turns it. I mean, you do want something else in there, don't you? Because otherwise you could just make an IPA and you know, all you're doing is just tricking yourself by making it black, you know. So anyway, I'm going in, this is smelling fantastic. Cheers. It's a really nice taste on that. Very nice. It's kind of a medium body. It's fairly sweet in terms of the body, at least. A little bit of bitterness in there from the hops. I think we bittered with Columbus. When you bitter with Columbus, you get this, I think you get this really amazing kind of agreeable kind of bitterness. I don't really know how to describe it, but it is really nice. It's never really too harsh. I don't know about the I'm going to say that word, I don't know. Cohumals. I think it might be slightly over, it's like 25 25, is it 25%, something like that. I think it might be in around 25%, maybe over. But yeah, it does bitter very well. I think it's my bittering hop of choice these days. Taken over from Chinook, because the Chinook was just a bit too harsh, I think. But that's just perfect. So yeah, as far as the flavour goes, I said about the roast on the aroma, you definitely get a little bit of roast on the taste. Again, it's restrained, as I said before. You get the bitterness in there as well, and you get this kind of, it's this type of like resiny type taste. It's kind of really dank and dark, but it works really well, I think. It works really well with dark grain, I always find, especially Columbus and any kind of, you know, hop like that. Even the Centennial now. I used to think Centennial was just all kind of nice grapefruit and stuff, and it's really not. It's not. Cascade's probably the same as well. I don't know whether my entire hop, my taste buds or something have changed, because the hops that I used to use like years ago, they seem to taste different now for whatever reason. So, or maybe the beer I'm making is just a lot better or something, I don't know. But yeah. And then the Cascade Centennial, Columbus the bitter, and then we had the Citra going on at the end. Now the Citra's not really that kind of, it doesn't really give too many dank, dark flavours, I suppose, if you use loads of it though, I suppose. But just having that in there is kind of, it gives it, it kind of lifts the other two hops, you know, the other two, the Centennial and the Cascade, I think, and just brings them up and just increases the kind of citrus, taste, flavour, and really kind of pushes it up. As far as the yeast goes as well too, I think the description on the website says something like fruity flavours with a roasted note, and it's absolutely right, because there is definitely a little bit of fruitiness in there. Now it's definitely not the most prominent of the tastes, but it is definitely in there, and you can definitely taste it. That is an absolutely fantastic beer. I have to say, I'm very impressed with that recipe and how that's turned out. I think I'll definitely be using the kind of London ale yeast for more. We'll do a few more tests, maybe a few more IPAs and whatnot, and see how they turn out. But yeah, I'm really kind of impressed with how that's turned out. I really like this beer, and I definitely will be brewing it again. I said in the recipe section too that I'm maybe thinking about putting Simcoe in. I think Simcoe would work amazingly well in a beer like this, because it does give the kind of, you know, part of it is kind of the kind of fruity, kind of citrusy notes, and other parts of it is just like this kind of pine and, you know, dank, resiny type of taste, and I think it would work magnificently well. So I would definitely suggest checking out the recipe. I'll leave a link down in the description. You can go and have a look at the original recipe and just make this. Really, I mean, you might not have the yeast, but I'm sure if you had something else, it would work just as well. Some kind of British ale yeast. WLP002 springs to mind immediately. So absolutely fantastic. Very happy with how that's turned out. Cheers. Forgot to bring the grain out. Fuck's sake. Okay, take two. Let us get the pump on. Make sure it works before we start. Take three.